Okay, we're going to take a look at the Cardinals backfield committee of Keaontay Ingram, Amari Demarcado, and Damien Williams against the Los Angeles Rams here. And Keaontay Ingram's up first, and you're going to see that number 4 blitzes. You have 9 men in the box on this play with this blitzer who gets past rookie Michael Wilson, who's otherwise been a good blocker this year. But this play is supposed to go right where the blitzer is, and it forces Ingram right away to adjust his stride, cut inside, and then even still, as he gets away from the blitzer, Michael Wilson is in his path. So he has to shove Wilson out of the way, spin inside, more penetration, just to get back to the line of scrimmage. Creative run, but this is quintessentially what I would call a Keaontay Ingram run during his career with the Arizona Cardinals, is that he's dealing with this kind of mess on a regular basis. But he gets a little bit better opportunities as the game goes along. This is a good example later in the quarter. You're going to see here a 12-yard gain where he's able to work, downhill, gets good blocking, and gets to the outside. Now, with this play, there's, most of the work has been done up front very well here. Everybody's got their man on man. You get your interior blocker to the second level, and Ingram's able to be patient enough to exploit this crease. And what I mean by that is watch the footwork here where he cuts the stride and slows the pace just a beat so that he can make sure that this defender gets pushed to the outside, that his interior blocks are getting, seals here. So he's got to seal outside, inside, finds the lane, accelerates through, finishes strong to get 12. Ingram can be a factor in the passing game. He's a good receiver in terms of catching the ball. What you want to see right here is just plant and get downhill. Split these defenders. Make them tackle you. And if they don't, you've probably split them and you have a one-on-one with the safety here. Instead, he tries to make a move and get outside a defender who has outside leverage on him, and he gets wrapped up here. So this is a mistake on Ingram that you'd like to see him do a little bit better with, which is to understand, catch the ball, get downhill. The best receivers do it in the NFL. Good running backs, in the receiving game do it in the NFL. He has to just plant and go. Now let's take a look at Damien Williams. We've got to remember he just got signed by the Cardinals and has been there barely a week. Now this is a wind back play. And you can see he takes it really towards the back side of this wind back play. You've got the tight end winding back here. And watch how he gets all the way around and takes on 97. And look at all this space here to the edge. And you've got your second and third level defenders playing, a good 7 to 12 yards off the line of scrimmage here. And pre-snap with this motion, you see the line shift a little bit. This is one of those plays where I would like to see Williams press the line, within a step here, allow this block to set up, and then work around that wind back block and have a one-on-one with the defender out in the flat. But instead, he just decides to play it safe. And again, he's backed up in his own area in this black zone here. So maybe, taking the safe play, I understand it's a veteran move here, but there's really nothing there in terms of what he's reading. And he's not really following the play design as tightly as he could, because right here, if he was setting it upright, instead of heading downhill here, he could be opening his hips and bending this outside. As all these defenders get drawn to the inside, he could bounce this outside. So this was kind of an opportunity missed here by Damien Williams. Again, he is getting back into the swing of things, and he's learning. He's playing in a new offense, and he hasn't been with this team for very long. But that's the difference between he and Ingram, who's a little more familiar, obviously, with this offense. Here's another example of rust from Damien Williams. You're going to see the puller right here, backside puller working to the right side. Now, as he gets downhill and that block is set up, you want to see him squeeze between these two defenders, or two blocks here, and just take what you can get. Okay, this isn't the time that you really want to bounce a play. If you do, you don't want to bounce it by spinning and wasting movement to end up bending all the way back for fewer yardage and then being wrapped up by the backside pursuit. With gap plays, you want to attack downhill and take what you can get. Hit this hard. If you got to run over your blockers, run over your blockers. The play where he has no gain and only gains a yard on this, these are quintessential Keaontay Ingram runs during his career early on with the Cardinals, where he just ends up in situations where the blocking does not hold up well. Now, he's got a double team here, so he's heading towards that double team, pressing the outside shoulder so he can get to that second level, but it closes up on him because this defender sheds the block by the tackle. If the tackle could keep that seal outside, Ingram does this right. Press, get back inside. Defender comes off of it, though. Now, if you're asking about this crease here, see this double team here, and see the opening in this deep area right here? Sure, that's a possibility, but when I say possibility, it's not the probability, because look at where the exchange point is. The quarterback is where this gap is opening, and he's handing the ball directed to the right. This is the play design, is to head first to the right and then maybe press that back to the left. He looks like he has a crease to press and set up to this right side. And right here, everything's the way that you would expect, pressing the head off here. This defender has leverage over here. So this one really isn't the best crease. He makes a good decision. The defense just does a better job against his line. Here's another opportunity as a receiver on a wide route. And he got 2-minute duty. Good extension for the ball there. That's a difficult catch for a lot of backs to make. He makes it nearly at the knee level, just below that. Brings it in, makes the first linebacker miss, gets the first down. Not a big gain, but getting that 2-minute duty. Watch what he does at the line of scrimmage here as he presses deep, finds that little cutback, drops the pads, and just runs through the face of this defensive lineman. That's the thing you want to see, is he can drop his pads on a defensive end and push forward. He's the most powerful back of this group. He has probably the liveliest feet. He may not have the best burst, but he's got the best change of direction, and honestly, I think he's got the best decision-making prowess. He just hasn't always had the best opportunities. Speaking of opportunities, this may have been Ingram's best opportunity of the day, and they don't run a lot of gap with him. They should. I mean, Amari Demarcado last week, I was talking about how he isn't pressing the backside shoulder and working to the front side shoulder. Watch that. Pressing the backside shoulder, that little dip inside, that forces the defender inside. He's still riding the backside shoulder of the backside puller, and then he works to the front side puller. So that patience really makes multiple defenders lose angles or miss him in pursuit. See that little dip, that look inside, that defender dips inside, he's out of the play now. And then he works towards that defender, gives his time. This gives the outside puller, or the front side puller, time to set up, and then he can stay tight to his backside puller, scrape that block, have room to get downhill, and beat the defender. Let's watch it from this point of view, and you'll see what I'm saying. It's just a smart run. Backside shoulder of the backside puller, scrapes past here tight so that he can beat 56 to the inside and give his frontside puller time to at least get a hat on a hat. Makes the man miss. 11 yards. Another example of a good press you're going to watch right here. Got double team here, double team here. Watch him work towards that front side shoulder, or the inside shoulder of his double team, of his inside man who's going to work to the linebacker. He presses that enough to draw that linebacker close and gets within a step. That forces that linebacker in, and then he slides around to the outside. That makes that run for 8 yards right there. Let's look at it one more time. Watch Jones get sucked in here because Ingram's patient. See how he works downhill, gets within a step. That forces Jones to stay in that gap, and then he works around. Fails to press this lane deep enough. This is a stretch play towards the outside. Take it to this outside point to your right tackle. Get to the outside shoulder of your tackle. If you do that, then you're going to allow these interior defenders to get manipulated to the outside, and you're going to have more room to go back to the inside. But because he's impatient at this point right here, the leverage is still advantageous for this defender on the guard. and he comes right off the guard and wraps up Williams, no problem. So Williams, again, aiming point needs to be better. Further outside, one more step. Just do one more step. Make this guy think twice about staying inside here, and then you can ride that wave inside for a potential gain more than 2 yards. One of the nice things that you do see with Williams is just, on an instinctive reactionary level, he knows how to be able to bounce outside. He's got good speed and quickness still for his age as a runner, and he's able to turn something out into nothing. This is a nice 9-yard gain where you get penetration in the backfield. He reads the leverage well. He dips inside towards the soft spot and then is able to break the tackle here. The high wrap, defenders wrapping high on running backs, usually not a good idea. He's able to avoid that and then just avoid the 2 unblocked defenders there, bounce it outside, cut it back in for 9. You can get good value out of him as a check down receiver. He's going to make the first man miss often enough. Not bad. Damien Williams is at his best, or has been at his best during his career as a third down back or passing down guy, where the offense is in passing alignments. You get the defense in a passing alignment like nickel with 6 in the box, and then you generate basically punt returner lanes. All he has to do is press this linebacker to this side, transition, and look at that big punt return lane that he can get downhill and get 8 yards. He has the burst to do that. He has the expertise to do this on light box work. He's just not a great dense box runner. A light box runner, pretty good. Once again, we get 6-man box. Once again, we get a 6-man box, nickel, little inside draw type of look here, running in the open field. I mean, look at how much space there is right here. Look at that. A lot of space to navigate. 7 yards. Demercado, I looked at him last week, but just to touch on him one more time, didn't really see anything much different from him. He's got nice burst. He's going to take the play as it's designed most of the time. He may not press as deeply as you'd like, but he's going to get what's essentially blocked for him in terms of, just the basic gain of what the block is there. And could he have pressed this a little bit more? Let's take a look. Probably could have maybe another step or two with the aiming point to get these guys further outside, and maybe he would have been able to split this a little bit better, because maybe 65 at that point has more room to look back to the backside blocker. But honestly, nitpicking, this one's good. And then with, Demarcado, gap plays work pretty well with him. If he can continue to stay at the inside shoulder and work his way outside, depending on, if it's 2 pullers, this is a good play where, this opens up nicely and he's got the burst to get downhill.